Why study the ocean? We in Fulton County live many miles from the nearest coast, but the world ocean covers 75% of our planet, and its impact on the environment and on the economy affects every world citizen. Landlocked students in Fulton County have few chances to study the ocean, and it is up to us as teachers to introduce our students to this resource. A summer program called Georgia and the World Ocean is offered by the Fulton County Board of Education Staff Development Department. Teachers who take the program spend over a week at the Marine Extension Center on Skidaway Island and on Sapelo Island studying various aspects of the Georgia coastal environment. The resources available at the Marine Extension Center and the adjacent Skidaway Institute of Oceanography provide opportunities for teachers to share learning experiences in many different subjects, which can be applied later in their classrooms. Both facilities are part of the University of Georgia. The Georgia and the World Ocean program is an example of how universities and public school systems can work together to improve education. Let's look at some of the activities of the 1983 class. Will Hahn, Director of Education at the Skidaway Institute of Oceanography, is the main instructor for the program. Before he takes the program participants out of the boat, he explains the trawling technique.
So, another way to say it is this. If I stop this boat, these will drift to the surface. As long as I keep this boat moving, then I can tune these in such a way that the force of the water working against them, you're into physics, will take them down and out.
The Marine Extension Center offers, along with classroom lectures, real experiences with the subject of study. The trawling method explained by Will in the classroom and demonstrated by Sim Graves on the Morgan J is almost exactly the same as used by commercial shrimp boats. On the boat, Sim unties the lazy line and the catch falls to the deck. Some of the specimens will be used by the class for class projects. Some will be brought back to Fulton County schools for demonstration and discussion. Later on, Sim also showed us how to capture microscopic residents of the salt marsh. He had a special device on the end of the net to hold the tiny creatures. Then we all followed him into the library to examine what was caught. The microscope is hooked up to a video screen so that the whole group can see at one time.
This is a veliger right here. You can see two rotors of cilia if you look very carefully. I'll try to get him in focus. Now that particular one is the larva of a mollusk.
Opportunities for observation during this course are not limited to marine organisms. Birds frequent the coast in large numbers. The tree ahead is full of snowy egrets. The Georgia Barrier Islands lie in the Atlantic Flyway, the flight path for birds migrating along the eastern seaboard. The group was able to identify many species. People are part of the environment too. Several different groups have lived on these islands through the centuries, and some people still live here today. The Indians were here first and longest, but all that remains are their trash heaps. This group got in some practical archaeology as they searched for bits of pottery among the oyster shells. Gerry McCormick, who will be teaching the Georgia and the World Ocean course, provided information at the dig.
The Indians along the coast call themselves Gwali, and the artifacts here are from about 600 years ago, as far back as about 2,000 years ago.
Crumbling remains of houses mark the early settlements of the Europeans. As we explored the old structures, Will Hahn gave us a history lesson.
They came in the 1780s when they were having the revolution over there in France, and so they had to leave and bring their money over here. They had slaves, and they used them to build this tabby construction that is nothing but old oyster shells that are cooked until it gets real soft and crumbly. Then they mash that up and put sand with it and water, and then they put a few oyster shells to hold it together, and that makes a pretty good form of mortar.
Even today, there are people living and working on these islands. The group spoke with Al Green, a basket maker who lives in the community of Hog Hammock on Sapelo Island. He described what he used to make his baskets.
But I got to get the stuff before I start to make the basket. Broom, straw, and powder matter. It's to sit down to make it, to go round and round and round and round for 16 and 70 hours. The larger it is, the more time.
In addition to academic growth, the Georgia and the World Ocean program allow opportunities for personal growth. Being together as a group day by day gives us a chance to get to know each other and really share experiences. There never seems to be time for this during the school year. This is a kind of spiritual renewal and just taking some time for yourself in this beautiful natural setting. Participants in this program certainly don't spend all their time seriously. After all, teachers like to play too. A refreshing swim prepares the group for the next lesson taught by Claudia Melear, one of the organizers of this program. Claudia is a science and biology teacher at M.D. Collins High School. She has a special interest in sea oats, which grow on dunes and hold the sand against the force of the wind. Sea oats are a protected species in Georgia. The barrier islands protect the coastal ecosystem. Claudia leads a discussion on ways to protect this delicate balance of nature. This is the first program that the Staff Development Department has held outside of Fulton County, and the location adds a great deal to the learning experience.
Facilities at the Skidaway Center are available for student groups willing to learn more about the Georgia coastal environment. Many of the activities shown here are part of the student program. One research project here at Sapelo deals with the salt marsh ecosystems. A 1,000-foot plank walkway into the marsh allows one to study without disturbing plants or animals.
The teachers follow up on what they learned at Skidaway by putting together teaching modules on some aspect of the program.
Another is classification activities. Things like putting 4 words together and the child has to pick the one that doesn't go. For example, aquarium, nest, birdhouse, and eagle. Okay, that eagle doesn't go with the others. The others are places, and the other is the bird. Okay, so it's just really a combination of all different language activities that relate to the vocabulary.
We will do some contrasting of birds with insects because insects was the first unit that I taught in the fall. So we'll do some contrasting with that so that they can know the differences. We'll talk about the color of the birds, the bills, and we'll go in from that into the eating habits. Then we'll talk about the different foods and the places that they'll be able to be found because of their diet.
Of course, the main purpose of the program is for teachers to be able to use what they have learned in their own classrooms.
And Georgia's beaches are a habitat of loggerhead sea turtles. And between May 15th and July 15th, this is the reproductive season when the females will crawl out of the water and crawl up very laboriously. You know, they're made for swimming. They've got flippers. They're not made for walking, so it takes them a long time to crawl up the beach.
No matter what grade level the program participants teach, they are able to apply what they learned during the program to their own students' curriculum. It is this application of the program's benefits to the teaching of Fulton County students that makes the Georgia and the World Ocean program a successful staff development experience.